right, Jesse.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
We were just talking about cop stories and times we've been pulled over and
Fuck
things.
the police coming straight out the
Fuck
underground.
the one, too. All right, we were talking about different times that we've been pulled over and stuff, so I thought that would be a good place to start with the podcast is times
The reasons to be pulled over.
Yes.
I've never got pulled over and committed a crime. I'm gonna throw that out there. I've never actually committed a crime and been pulled over. It was always like, you turned your left turn signal too early, you know?
Yeah, and you've actually gone to jail.
I've been to jail a couple times.
I've definitely done things that I should have gone to jail for and not gone to jail.
I think the part they don't talk about jail that's so bad is it's very unsanitary. Like, I don't feel like I'm not like this OCD person, but it's gross. Jail is so disgusting.
I'm sure it is, man.
I've been to jail multiple times for not long periods, but some time. I've never ate jail food and I've never pooped or peed.
No, that's
my body goes through this weird shutdown and nothing comes out. Nothing goes in, nothing comes out. I am just a solid man, right? And I just, whatever, I don't know if I'm praying to Buddha, Jesus, or all of the above, but I'm harnessing all that energy until my bail money comes through.
All right, so just for anyone that doesn't know, Jesse's been to jail and he's never been pulled over whenever he was actually committing a crime, and that's the difference.
Yeah, last time I was in,
that's the difference.
Last time I went to jail, I was in the passenger seat. And it's funny because my girlfriend actually, she didn't have a registration for her car, but
you were the one that went
I got pulled over. And you know what? I shouldn't have complied to him asking for my ID, but whatever. I'm cracking jokes and talking to him. He's smiling. He goes on my side of the door, tells me to roll the window down. Kind of weird. We literally had this conversation. He's Two-Faced, completely different guy, has bass in his voice and get out the car. I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck. Did you know you have a warrant about 6 years ago? No. What did you do 6 years ago? I paid everything, but apparently I had this old warrant that I thought I paid, but I didn't pay the warrant. I paid something else that they don't tell you what you pay for. You can pay something and get your license, not renewed but activated. If you get it a warrant or something, they can take away your license or just deactivate it or something like that. And I paid to activate it. They didn't tell me that. They didn't tell me I didn't. But that's like paying more money. I would have just paid my warrant. But they didn't tell me what I was paying for. They just kind of inferred.
Well, the state's going to get money out of you whichever way that they can.
And even now, I don't think I have any warrants, but I've been getting, let's see, it's been a year, 2 years, almost coming up 2 years since I've been in jail, and I still get warrants. I don't know what, and ever since I went to jail, I've only got papers telling me I have a warrant. Never got that. Never showed up on the system. I've went there. I've been to rec where they filed all my registration. Never. Right? Mm-hmm. And when I was in jail, I was like, so how do you find out that you have a warrant? Because I've tried everything. I've called, went up there, everything. And they were like, oh, the only way you know you have a warrant is going to jail. And I was just like, I was like, you do see how this makes that worse, right?
Yeah. You do understand how this is worse, right?
Right? And they were like, yeah, that's just how the system is. And I was like, no, what?
No, I swear, I've been pulled over shit-faced drunk before by the sheriff, and he just told me to go home.
That's me. I haven't went to jail every time I got pulled over, but in it to win it, man. I've got pulled over, and I was just like, I just don't want to deal with this tonight. And then I just started crying. You swore I deserved the Oscar. He rolled down that window. I was like, he was like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "It's hard out here." I don't even know. I wasn't saying words. I was tears. I was distraught. He was like, have a good day, sir.
And I went up there, actor skills,
wiped them tears off. I was like, man, back to the BS, right? I went out one time. I was wilding one time, and I shouldn't be, but it was mad. It was real cold. It was 30-some, 20-some degrees. And he pulled me over.
So it had to be January because that's the only time of the year.
Yeah, this is years ago. He pulled me over. I was real mad. I was like, okay, bet it's cold. We went out there and he said, you did a wide right turn. That's illegal. I was like, what? It is? Where does it say that?
What a bullshit reason to pull somebody over.
I was like, where does that say that? And then I started asking him all these technical questions on driving. Hey, just to make sure I don't get pulled over again, I start asking him everything, letting him stay out freeze. And I asked him, he's just like, sir, you clearly didn't do nothing wrong. I'm cold. I'm just going to go and walk away. I was like, all right, have a nice day, officer. You know, like, just, one time I got pulled over time, and they were just like, you got any meth in here? I'm like, I'm fat. Do I look like I got meth? I'm tired.
Isn't that part of the deal? You're like real skinny if you do that.
Yeah, that's what I was like. He was like, and then like he's searching my car. I'm like, whatever, search my car. There's not any meth. And then other people start checking. Hey, everything okay? You all right?
That's one thing I won't do. Like, even I never have anything really bad in my car except for like 1 or 2 times in my life. Anything illegal, I'll say that. But I never consent to searches. And that's just because, like...
I don't consent to anything anymore. I used to, but now I see being compliant still throws me in jail even though I don't do anything. Yeah. I'm not as compliant when you have no reason to. Like, when dude would, like, search in my car, all these, like, people, police and everything was like, you good? You all right? And I'm just like, yo, why are y'all checking on him?
Yeah.
Like, help me. Mm-hmm. Right? One time they just like, I got pulled over and dude was just like, you're swerving in your lane. I was like, there's not enough lane in these small lanes for me to swerve in. So what you talking about? Mm-hmm. Am I swerving out? He's like, no, you're swerving your lane. And he asked me all these questions and he said, if this was a test to see if you were a drug dealer, you failed.
Yeah.
And I was like, how?
Well, the way I think about it is they don't have any obligation to respect my property. They just don't. Like, they can tear the shit up and throw it all away. It's a lesson for you kids. Never comply with the state.
Man.
That's all I'll say about that.
Man, and the thing is, like, I don't, like, when it comes to, like, police and everything else, like, I know how corrupt the system is and everything else. And it's like, bro, just leave me alone because I'm not trying to break no laws here.
It's not even about right and wrong.
No, it's not.
They're looking for an excuse to make revenue off of you. That's what they're doing.
And I get mad when I see somebody break the law. I'll like if I'm in the car, I'll get real mad and I'll stare at the police and like drive next to him like, y'all saw him speed.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'll like start acting like a little bit like an ass like that. Or it'll be like if you commit a crime and like walking around hanging out with friends and the police don't do anything, I'm like, yo! I'm straight up 6'9" snitching. Get him! Get this man! Yeah. No, man, he breaking the law. I know y'all got quotas. Bro, you better get this quota. You better get this.
The wackest shit I've ever been pulled over was not using my turn signal, and I was in a turn-only lane. I was like, where else am I going, man?
I think the wackest I've ever been pulled over is driving while black. You know?
Fair enough.
I don't think they ever...
I can't compete with that.
They don't say that, but they say, do you know you turned your turn signal your left turn signal too late? Or you're swerving in your lane, or, you're in the passenger seat. What?
Wow, black.
I've had my ID being asked for while I'm in the back seat. Like, come on, bro. What am I supposed to be in the trunk? Do you want me in the trunk? Is that where I'm safe at?
They want you being kidnapped, man.
Is that the safe way? It's just like, bro, I'm not a person. I don't mess with nobody. Don't mess with me, bro. I'm just trying to live life.
Well, that's their job. They're road pirates. They're out trying to make revenue.
And I understand they got a place in America and everything else. So I try and do these events that involve cops and get my face out there and be like, hey, he's one of the good ones. Don't beat him up. Get the other dark skinned man. Don't get the other dark skinned man. Don't arrest that man either.
Just how about you fuck off?
Just please leave me alone. Like, just leave me alone, bro.
Do shit that it says on the side of your car and serve and protect people.
It got bad. Like, I was getting so mad. Like, every policeman that pulled me up, I had, like, names, their family. I did, like, a complete, like ex-girlfriend broke up background search. And I was like, okay, looks like I'm going wife hunting. Like, look like I'm wrecking ball and some marriages. I'm like, you know what? I don't need to be vindictive like that. Right? I don't need to do nothing petty like that. Right? I don't need to be like that. Like, whatever. We con the system.
I hate that I always reference memes on here, but like that one that was like, I keep her company so he can patrol the street. I'm fucking a cop's wife.
Right? Like she probably like, you got to get past these things. I just like, man, come on, bro. You won't. When the blue starts backing me, I start backing the blue. All right, I think that's a fair. That's a fair
exchange.
That's a fair exchange, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So how about us being prophets, man?
Oh man. Oh yeah, yeah. The Fast and Furious are everything. Heavy fights aliens. We called that last week.
Yeah, dude. Like, all right. So this shit started circulating,
The
and
day after
the
the
day
release.
after we mentioned it, like, we did not see any articles about it. We didn't see anything. We were just talking about Fast and Furious going to space, and the day after we did the podcast, they started like talking about the next movie. Dom's going into space. Not to get
Oh.
too caught up on talking about Fast and Furious, because
No, we can talk about Fast and Furious. It's amazing. It has a lot of actors. It has The Rock in it. That's like 20 actors by itself. And stature and money.
yeah,
Like-
and like I spent the last day watching Fast and Furious movies, and
1
some
through
of it,
6. Oh
yeah.
no, 3 through 6, right?
3 through 7.
You
was
said
what
you
I
didn't
watched.
watch 7.
No, I didn't watch 8. 8 is Fate of the Furious. That's the last one. I didn't watch that.
So 9's in space?
Yeah, 9's gonna be
Bro.
in space.
10 better be fasten your seatbelts.
Shut the fuck
It
up.
better be, bro. It
Off
better
yourself.
be.
Fuck
It
yourself.
needs to be. I mean, where else are we gonna go? You know.
This is one of those things where I think they just they need to figure out a way to end it.
Why haven't they made an anime of this?
I mean, I don't remember what year it came out, but like Wangan Midnight was like the original street racing anime.
Oh, really?
It's kind of old, so it might be before the first Fast and Furious.
Oh, it is probably. Most definitely.
I think that was when that culture was mainly in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they made it. It was a real weird anime. This kid bought this 240 or 280Z, a Datsun, like the granddad to the 350Zs that you see now, and 370Zs and shit. It was possessed. It had killed every owner that had it
Oh,
in a
no.
wreck. Yeah,
That's gonna be the 10th movie.
it was called the
after
Devil
coming-
Z.
After coming back from the aliens, Dom's gonna get a ghost car entertainment.
Yeah, he's gonna get the Devil Z. It better
gonna
be
get the Devil
a
Z.
dark blue 240Z.
Now he's gonna refer to his car as family.
It's the ghost of Paul Walker.
Oh no! So is it gonna be like Knight Rider? Can't let you do this, Dom. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna start talking,
And
to
they're
him
just going to
directly.
use clips from old recordings of Paul Walker. And
He's gonna
talk
pop up
to
in the
him.
centerpiece, just talking to him and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, I
hate
would-
this so much.
Do you hate it so much?
I hate it so much because the series has nowhere to go to, so it gets outrageous, bro. It's like Transformers,
Yeah.
right? Like that's where like the Transformers franchise has ran out, right? And when franchises run out, like why are we continuing this, right? Like I don't love these characters that much.
Because they're going to get paid for it.
Uh,
Bro, I don't smoke pot anymore, but I would get high. I would get so high to go to theaters and see the movie where Paul Walker's spirit has possessed a car that Dom drives. Are you kidding me? It would be so cringy and awful.
no. Oh man. You know, one family, always family. Family beyond the grave.
Shit.
Oh man, I just like at this point. Oh no, I'm done with Fast and Furious. You've made me done with it.
Yeah,
I'm going to a cool topic. So Kanye's wilding.
We're always talking about Kanye.
No, we didn't. We didn't talk about Kanye last week.
Every episode, I think we talk.
We always talk about Trump.
We always talk about Trump, and we always talk about Kanye.
We always talk about The Rock. All right, then you pick a topic. 'Cause we're not. We're done. I know you guys like one of the fluid podcasts. Nope, we're done talking about Fast and Furious. It's got too out of
What
hand.
about China's energy weapons in space?
Okay, I'm just be real with you, right? Mm-hmm. China and Japan clearly have Gundams and Autobots moving, right? They already have Transformers literally moving. Like this is what wars are becoming, right?
Yeah.
All right, like I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about us sending a nuke and this robot slashing out of the sky with an energy sword. All right,
Bro, as scary as that would be in real life, like I'd love to watch it.
I'm worried that this Gundam just moves, starts running because clearly they all have that, and we may not have robots. ready to fight, right? Like I don't know. Or do we? Do we have robots to fight?
If you want to know the honest truth, I was excited to hear about the Space Force just because, like, the first idea that came to mind was, like, this is Mobile Suit Gundam Wing.
Man, G Gundam, a great anime. I wish that's how we saw what country ruled the world. We all get one Gundam. They fight in the tournament. Winner of the tournament rules the world for 4 years.
Yeah, but that might end up kind of shitty. Like, what if North Korea won it?
Yo, I mean, a dub is a dub, bro. You said it's kind of shitty. Like, you know what they're probably thinking? Yeah, what if America won it?
You're so right.
Like
You're
that's
so
how
right.
they actually to tell you, probably all 190 like two countries feel that way, right?
Yeah.
And they don't feel like that way with North Korea. They feel that way about U.S.
Yeah, because we're assholes. But I'm selfish, so I'm going to say that we should be in control of it.
I don't know, man.
An evil you're aware of is better than an evil you're not aware of.
Fair. That's very fair. And this is why we need to reboot the Fast and Furious franchise, because I don't know where it's going anymore. I don't know what this
We need to find out whatever guy directs it. I don't even know who it is.
I assume it's always James Cameron. He's the explosion guy.
Yeah, maybe.
I always assume it's James Cameron.
I was having that thought watching the last couple because I was like, God damn, how many explosions can they fit in this movie?
See, it makes you just think like it's probably James Cameron.
Yeah.
Like that's or Michael Bay. Michael Bay.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Michael Bay.
We need, if it is Michael Bay, we need to find him, choke him nearly to death, and say, we're going back to the car culture movies, is what we're doing. You're not going to blow anything else up. We're going to stop the guns and the heist bullshit.
We're going back to the Japanese hip-hop music.
Yes.
Back to the car culture.
The car meets and the street races.
Dun, 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 dun.
I wonder if you know what they do in Tokyo. You're going to get me hyped on the Teriyaki Boys, man.
Bro. That's
what racist name, by the way. I don't know if they're actually Japanese, but Teriyaki Boys.
Ooh. That's
Teriyaki.
I mean, racism is different over there. They make fun of themselves.
Yeah, and they make fun of everybody else too, and don't get as much shit as everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, but they're for Black Lives Matter, so it's all good, right?
Yeah, but they can do blackface, and everyone just kind of looks the other way on us. Like,
we already talked about Popo.
Yeah. No, it's like a thing. Like,
no, it is.
Teenage girls, like, they fucking way over tan, and they'll basically do blackface.
I feel like there's a part of me that doesn't know how to encounter like racism in a correct way when it comes to like women, like because I have such a curious mind. So if I like, I was in Japan just strolling around, right, and I see like a bunch of Asian women in blackface, like there would be an urge in me to like I'd just be like so about them, like, oh my god, why are you racist? That's so hot. Wow. Do you have a Confederate flag also? Or is this just blackface is just the point of it, right? Like, do we stop at blackface? Or do you also have like a noose? Like, how far do we go with this?
They probably don't even understand all that part of it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, honest. You know, I'd be so curious. Like, why did this catch on? What did you watch? Bojangles? It's probably Bojangles. Like,
honestly, like, they probably are just fans of hip hop culture and are trying to emulate that the best they can.
That's when I asked, which rapper did you look at and you just thought putting on big red lipstick and blackface and that was a rapper? Was it Biggie? I bet it was Biggie. Like which were like
Lil Wayne?
Like was it Lil Wayne?
Yeah.
Do you think you look like Lil Wayne? Like I would be like curious, like what brought upon to be like, yeah, this is what I want to do, you know?
Yeah, like fucking Naito all the time. Like, you think he's not making fun of white people? He's definitely making fun of white people. He does it with
one eye. He does that one eye.
There's that picture I sent you, though, that was like him just doing this.
Oh, it is true.
Oh, here we have Naito making fun of white people.
Like, that means could we go over to, like, stereotypical Bugs Bunny and, like, bug teeth and eyes and, like, 25 months? Like, can we do that?
They probably wouldn't give a shit,
like,
if I'm
being
honest.
Could we, like, go over there and just, like completely, like, trash their culture? You know, I bet what would be offensive if we dressed up like Trump. Like, if you came over and dressed up Trump, would be more offensive than you.
They would probably just want pictures with you.
Would they?
Probably.
Would they? But see, at the same time,
I
like,
feel like other people's cultures are kind of like a novelty
see,
item.
you say that, and then you go up to the wrong person, then it's the Yakuza, and then you're just like, oh.
All right, that's a completely different issue if we're talking about the Yakuza. That's like Japan serious.
See, but I feel like if you went over there really offensive, even to like not aggressive person, you just everybody was kung fu fight, and they just completely everybody's gonna beat you up. Like I feel like there's still limits. Like they're just gonna beat you up.
I don't know, man. Like I feel like they would laugh at you and carry on. It's just I feel like
ha ha, white man, ha ha, white man, ha ha.
Yeah.
Like you think they're gonna talk about it?
Yeah.
Oh man, all these voices. This is what I think Asian people sound like. Jesus. You know.
Fucking everything in the written language is a syllable. That's what I've learned so far from my Japanese lessons.
Is Japanese? Oh yeah, yeah, but it's not one of the.
Risuzu, you know, like it's every symbol represents a syllable.
The language is so interesting. Tonal languages always throw me off.
I've started to get into the point where like it's really difficult for me to keep up with it because I'm getting to where like the symbols are the same, but they have like annotations next to them. Like if they have like 1 or 2 marks, then they start with a different letter, and that gets really garbled to me. Like keeping up with all the different.
I know what you can do when you finally go over to Japan. You gotta buy a cowboy hat.
Oh, do I?
And some boots. Hey there, little lady. Boom. You got mountain loads of women. Anything, bro. Eyes could, far as your eyes can see.
Everyone already says, like, if you're a white dude, you basically get your pick.
Bro, right there, you just wear the cowboy hat, you just tip it, you know.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it'd be like a caricature type thing.
You look at them, and they'd be like, you want to take you to drink? And you're like, I drink a real man's drink, not sake. You got any whiskey? You start completely sell it, belittle them, be American.
That fucking whiskey that I sent to the chat, that's what I'm going to ask for.
Yo, if that's it, buy me a lot of that, bro.
We're not going to say what it is here, but Japan is wild. That's all I'm going to say.
N-words, bro. All N-words.
Real N-word whiskey from the
wonder
hood.
Would it be like, if we went over there and they just be like, he N-word. And I'll be like, a word? Because I've been, that's dealt with that. I was in the country of Colombia when I did a little school thing over there. And it was like, do you listen to N-word music? And I was like, that's a genre?
Whoa.
It was wild. They asked me that. They asked me like, hey, do you listen to N-word music? I was like, what is that? And they were like, you know what N-word music is?
They probably had no idea that was like offensive.
So half of them did, half of them didn't. Or some of them acted like they did it. The other one's like, bro, chill. And they were like talking in Spanish. I kind of picked up like some of them, they were like, they found it funny to ask that, like, right? And that's how they referred it, right? They referred to booty shaking music or hip hop as N-word music.
Wow.
That was a thing. Like, everybody knew, and they referred to it like that.
And they probably just didn't know. They were just, like, going off.
Some of them did. But, like, see, some of them clearly did because they got on to their friends.
Okay. But the other ones, like, probably were going off the context of the content of the music.
Kind of. Like, it was really weird. But it was kind of weird. Like, it seemed like all of them knew, but at the same time, they didn't know how, like, because racism was just kind of appeared different. Right? But that's how they referred to it. It was like N-word music. It was black music.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, that's why I'm like, you go to a certain place, they just straight up, flat out call you that, and you're just like, huh? But it was weird because, like, they had a lot of black people. Like, Colombia, like, South America has so much black culture, African culture, black people, right? But to me, I would be different, right? Because I'm from the U.S., right? Like, black people in the U.S. is different than black people in other places.
Yeah.
So it was really, like, to them, I would be an N-word.
Well, if a Japanese person called you the M-word, you probably wouldn't know it. They would say it in Japanese, and it was probably some word that we wouldn't be familiar with.
Or N-word stands out. Like it's like a proper noun type of thing.
Yeah.
It could be.
And they like English a lot, so I guess it's very possible that
it
they
could be just,
call you straight out. Like it's a thing in, like, the car community, right? Like, over here, we like Japanese cars, and we like to put kanji all over our shit. And over there, they like American cars, and they like to put English on all their shit. So it's like a grass is greener on the other side.
Why they be driving cars saying water? Like,
yeah, I mean it's never like water, but it's like team inspire,
Oh, okay.
like words like that.
Okay, that's.
And they love V8 cars.
Really?
Like the few drift events that I've been to in Texas where they had like these OG Japanese drift guys come over and commentate. They love V8
Who
cars.
doesn't like V8, bro? American muscle. Where's your pride at? Where's your American pride at?
It's boring, man.
Where's your no? It's not
boring.
American. No, right there with the American muscle.
They're boring to watch, boring to listen to. They don't make any of the cool turbo noises.
Let me boring.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it is.
And I guess if you like turbo one, they make cool turbo noises, but it still doesn't sound as good as like a 6-cylinder does.
Nah, man. V8s, bro. Where's your pride? Where's your American pride?
I've got no American pride because I did not do anything to accomplish being American.
You were born with that privilege.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't mean a lot to me.
Why? Because you were born with it?
Yeah, I feel like pride should be reserved for the things that you accomplish.
Let me try and think of something that's not that offensive. What are the things you can do that you be like that you're a great American? You vote, American. I don't know. You don't.
No, it's silly. Like, to have national pride to me has always been like a silly concept because, like, shit went down here, I would immediately run to Canada. I'm not even going to bullshit you. Like, I have no loyalty to any plot of land.
Dang.
Nothing. I'm going to take care of me and mine, and that's it.
But, okay, man, see, I feel like, and that was one thing when I was a kid, it's like really weird when we were pledging allegiance to the flag. Mm-hmm. It was weird to me, but like I understood it. You're right. I understood, you want to have this space where you support where you're from. Right? So it's kind of weird. Like, I don't dislike being American, but I do see a lot of improvements to America. No, I would never say that I dislike it at all. Like, I'm not going to stomp on a flag or anything.
No, I don't. The deal is, like, I don't give a shit enough to go one way or another about it. Like you said, when we were kids and we were doing the Pledge of Allegiance and you're pledging your allegiance to your country, I'm like, but what if we're on the wrong side of an issue? I can remember from like as early as 5th grade, I was like, well, if my country was doing something that was bad or evil, I wouldn't be allegiant to it.
I remember doing that, and I just remember thinking, like, what's the difference in what we just bashed Hitler? Like, I remember learning about World War II, and I'm like, what's the difference, right?
Yeah.
And like, people get mad.
He was
like,
very patriotic.
Look how disgusting they're doing with their hands up. I'm like, but what's the difference in what we're doing?
It's the same thing.
Right? Like,
the only difference is, like, the context of what their ideology was.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
And everyone gets all offended if you leave God out of it, like that wasn't added in the 50s, but that's a different argument.
Well, that's the additive God and being a Christian nation and all these other things. The lack of education in America is ruining America.
It was literally just added in as a kind of contradiction to quote unquote godless communism whenever that happened. Mm-hmm. That's literally all it was. Because before that, it was just one nation, individual or indivisible with liberty and justice for all. That was the end of the whole thing.
Wow. Well, now to add to the whole God thing, I actually, like, somebody, like a famous YouTuber, he kind of, like, disagreed with me. He didn't want to argue with me, but he disagreed with me because I was just like, he was like, always give thanks to God. And I was like, and I took this generic picture of Jesus and, like, when they say that, this is who they're praying to. He's like, no. And I was like, well, who? And he never replied. I was like, well, who do you pray to? Like, because your image in your mind matters or who you're praying to.
Yeah.
Right.
How about you give praise to yourself?
That's a sin.
Says who?
The Bible. Jesus.
Who cares?
God. Christians.
You're right.
like, these are all like, no, they like all that's pride, bro. That's a sin. Like,
and I'm probably the last person in the world to be saying that because I'll never give myself credit for anything.
Jesus, that's so sad.
I think it's more noble than that. I think it's that I always know that I can be doing more.
I think it's one of those.
What I accomplish.
There's a way to be humble and humility with, and then there's Kanye West, right? Yeah. There's two levels, right? Or Donald Trump, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and it's one thing like, And for those people, those who credit is they give themselves praise because they feel like they're not getting enough acknowledgement now before they die.
Hmm.
Which, to credit, a lot of legends die and we don't give them enough credit.
Yeah, but I almost like those people more.
I mean,
Like if you die and your greatness was not
I want to hear
properly
my praise,
acknowledged.
man. I can't disagree. Like anything good I do, I like hearing it. It makes me feel good. It motivates me, and I want to know like if I revolutionize the game or I do something, I want people like say it, tell me. Like I always, that's why I always compliment people. Like I want to hear the compliment, so I tell people to compliment. Don't compliment me later.
Yeah.
That's where all your haters turn into people that support you after you die. Like that's trashy. I want to be alive and hear it.
I don't know. I have problems accepting certain praise. Like when I finished nursing school, everyone was like, "You did it! You killed it! You're the fucking man!" Yada yada yada. And I had trouble accepting that, and I still do because like, how many people finish it? Like, yeah, it was hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, hands down. But how many people finish it? It doesn't seem like something worthy of that much praise. Like, yeah, I busted my ass, but it's not anything grandiose.
I feel like that because like when I do events, and everybody's like, "Oh, you did all this," and everybody like, "You did all this big event. You brought 1,000 people," and I'm like, "So a lot of people bring thousands of people."
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do it, and I feel like, and I take it in a certain way. Like almost any like I don't. To me, I'm confident. I'm glad of everything I've already accomplished, but it means nothing to grander scale. So anytime somebody compliments me, I'm just like, you're actually demeaning me because you're comparing me to people that are trash.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Absolutely.
anything I ever did is pales in comparison. I just did better than all the trash people that's around me. And you're like, oh, you did better than I'm like,
Yeah.
and do more because you're always gonna say, wow, you're really good for a person your age or your skin color or in your area, right? Those are all demeaning things, right?
Yeah.
If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
And I take it, and that's why I'm like, oh well, thank you, whatever else, but I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
Right? Like, eh.
Honestly, the thing that I take the most pride in throughout my life is when In Cycles played that Sold Out show. For anyone that like doesn't know, I was in a band for like 5 years.
You're still in the band, Chuck.
I'm still technically in the band, but I'm not a active playing member.
Yeah, when the last time has the band even actively played?
Anyone played. Yeah. But we like sold out a show and opened for Silent Planet, which is a band that we all look up to, and like that is a pride point for me because there wasn't there's not a structure to that. I didn't go into some program. Me and my friends made it happen, and we played a sold out show. The crowd was super receptive. And even if I didn't get to live the dream that we were all after, like I got to pretend that night.
I think like it, and that's one of the things like that puts you in an upper tier list, right? And that's one of the things like now you're in a tier list where you can say you played a sold out show because now how many bands ever said they played a sold out show?
Yeah.
Right.
Very few compared to how many exist.
Very few compared. Now you're in an upper tier list. Like now you can say like I reached this level, right? And yeah, there's other levels, but this is a higher level that nobody believed that you guys could reach.
Yeah.
Oh,
we caught so much shit for like just getting voted into that spot.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, like everyone. Whenever we just shared it individually and on the page, we just shared it, and all of our friends came to our aid and like voted for us to be in that spot. And everyone, all the local bands in Dallas, they like accused us of buying votes and.
Well, y'all beat out like at least two really pretty decent big bands.
Yeah.
Like in comparison to y'all, it was like kind of wild.
Yeah.
Right.
It was crazy. Like I went to bed one night and we had like 14 votes, and I woke up and we had like 500 votes, and it was like, whoa. Y'all
went up there, y'all grinded. It was crazy. Like with all the things that ended up stopping, like y'all were on a very good fast pace. I remember like it was like, oh, let's try and get 1,000. Let's try and get another 1,000 likes, and then out of nowhere, like we just got 1,000 likes. And like nobody was promoting anything. It just like it was just like the algorithms, everything just started like was in a motion. Like you guys were in a certain motion where everything was popping.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was still like it was so far off of what is necessary for a band to get financially successful that I never like considered it that way. I was just trying to have fun with it, but I was like impressed that we did as much as we did.
Y'all hit a higher level, like even in terms of like Dallas bands, y'all hit like that upper tier list. And that's one of the things. Like you hit a place like you didn't think, right?
Oh, way further than I ever thought, personally.
I think like when y'all
I
was
was
like,
just having fun.
I think with y'all band, the only person that probably like would say these things or think about it would be me. Oh yeah, y'all gonna play sold out show. You gonna have like 4,000 likes. Y'all be like, yeah, whatever, Jesse.
Yeah,
Right,
whatever.
like we're gonna do this and that. Like I'm probably the only cause like I'll be like hyper optimistic about the future, right?
Yeah.
Like I call and shoot names because like that's how I feel like doing business and everything. You gotta
Not to
have
say
the
that
goal.
you like are the same kind of person at all, but like it's almost like you have that Christian mentality that I grew up around, where they were like, we're speaking it into existence, and that's like kind of how you do things. Is
Oh,
like,
I fully believe into speaking things into existence. Like bro, I say some wild things that be happening. Like when I had that one Austin show, I was saying that for months and I had no idea.
yeah,
I was looking like I don't know why I just kept saying it. Like I had a little job and I told people in Austin and I was like telling people. I told my girlfriend. She was like, "Where are we doing the show at?" And I was like, "Shit, I don't know.
we're gonna
I'm
find.
gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it during South by Southwest. I'm gonna have a little festival show event. I'm gonna have all this stuff." And I said it. I told everybody. I was like, "Yeah, y'all gonna be booked."
Like that band that went on after us. They were such like a, I don't want to say cock rock, but like cock rock band.
Oh, they definitely was.
They were like rhinestoned leather pants type bands. And like after we got done and came off, their guitarist was like, "Yeah, I could definitely tell you guys were from Dallas from your sound." I was like, "What does that mean?" It was like, "You got the distorted bass," and I was like, "Dude, no one except for y'all has their bass player playing without distortion now."
Talk about like calling things out in existence with that. That show was also led to me calling something else in existence. Was like, all right, you're gonna film a music video in Austin. I was still very new to Austin. I had no ends to like be like, hey, this person's gonna let me get a venue for a whole day for people.
And one, that was our best music video. Mm-hmm. And two, man, what a grueling day. It was such a grueling day to shoot that, man.
And like the whole thing was, y'all was gonna do the show. Y'all get to scope out of the place.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna plan a date, and it happened. And I was like, wild. And
I think the thing that made it so grueling was like normally, out of the music videos we shot, there was like a producer that was filming it. Mm-hmm. And he was like kind of in charge of like telling, say me, go do this, go do that. Mm-hmm. But this was something that we did all on our own. Like Zaylen was that guy for sure. He had the camera, he had the vision for what we were doing, but ultimately it was like all just on us.
Yeah.
And that made for a grueling day because we would try something and it didn't necessarily work very well, and we'd have to like go back to the drawing board and that was a very hard day. And Mitchell, like, I watched that video back sometime and that was like before he got diagnosed, and I was like,
that was right before.
Yeah, and like looking back on that video, I was like, man, how did I not know something was up? Because he was like a skeleton.
He even said it himself though.
Yeah.
He even said like during then like there was something off or whatever. But you know what's wild? Like we had a party. Like I went to a party the day before and y'all just went to sleep and Mitchell went with me. He hung out with everybody and partied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the only one that went with
He still was like hitting it hard and still,
Yeah.
That was wild. Calling all those things out and like doing that. That's when I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna move out down. I was like, I'll move to Austin. Had no reason. Oh, I believe in it. Like, you call something out and you just work towards it and you just bust ass. And you take a lot of L's. Yeah. Right? Don't get me wrong, I take plenty of L's, but you gotta like you have to have that sort of, you have to be hype on yourself to a certain level.
And that's a common theme in not only a lot of Eastern religions, but like occult magic and things like that, is where you place your words is where your energy goes.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
I fully support and believe in that. That's why I'm like this, right? Like that's why I have all these crazy ideas.
And that's not like lying about anything, right?
No.
It's not like if you're doing awful, someone asks you how you're doing and you say, "Oh, I'm fantastic." It's not like that. It's like, I'm not doing great, but I'm getting better every day.
Yeah. That's why I keep on, like, that's what, like, you have to have, like, that certain thing. And I think, like like we get the ball rolling on certain things because like there's certain level of being like realistic, and which is funny, like to you guys I can let you guys be very realistic when I talk to you guys in the chat, and I can be hyper optimistic. In the other chats that I'm in, I have to be like super realistic, and I have to let them be optimistic, right? Yeah. So I don't. So when y'all chat, I can be like this hyper aggressive, positive person. I don't get to do that with other people because everybody always calls me. I've been called this rain cloud of negativity because I'll realistically break down why we can't do certain things.
Yeah, and right. As we're the group that we're all in, mm-hmm. I feel like everyone's kind of realistic and not. It's almost in a downer kind of way, but not really. It's just like mm-hmm. we understand more than a lot of other people, like how much is involved with doing things. Mm-hmm. So we're like, I don't know if that would work, or this is going to be like X amount of dollars that we don't have, and mm-hmm. like that kind of thing. And that's why you get to be the optimistic guy.
I can be the hyper optimistic guy. And I just call out because like, that's like, but like, it's my lifestyle now is like more normal and realistic. But at one point, my lifestyle was wild, bro. Y'all was like,
your lifestyle is still wild.
Huh? I think it's way more calm. It's way more realistic and calm. Like before, bro, I was like, I traveled like.
You still was like bringing shit into the chat, and we're like, what?
That's true. That's very true. But like think about like when I was traveling, like I was like in like 9 states, 13 cities in a week, bro.
Yeah, you went to South America, and we were just like, all right.
And I was like straight broke doing these things. Like y'all knew I was like poor. Like I was so broke. Y'all was buying me food, and you were like, how is he doing? Like I was still.
Dallas was like the center point for all your travels, right?
Yeah, that was
like
the center
go
point.
Somewhere, and then you come back to the apartment, and me and Zaylen would feed you for a little while.
Place there, sleep on the couch, and I go back off, back into the hustle world, right? And like, but I was like making things happen with no money, and everybody was like, what does he do? Like, how is he doing this, right? Like, it was just like, and that's why, like, Zayla be like, oh, well, he's a legend. Like,
he's a legend.
There's no other way to describe, like, he is doing it. Like, well, I don't know what he's doing, but he's clearly doing it, right? Like, y'all would see it, and that's why I would take a selfie, like, yeah, you see this? Empire State Building. See this in L.A. Here, and you see all these pictures, and, like, he's really in these spots. Mm-hmm. He's, like, crazily doing it. I'll be like, I'm going to go do this and that, and just, like, no money. That's why I was living that crazy, optimistic lifestyle that made no sense realistically. Like, realistically, I shouldn't have been able to do half of the things I did in the last, like, 3 or 4 years.
Well, people...
5 years, honestly.
People would be surprised how far you can get just on the kindness of strangers.
It's true.
And that's
very true.
Real,
Knowing being charismatic, knowing how to talk, being very keen, and being very aware of like your couple steps.
Yeah.
It goes really far, And not only I was doing that, I was hanging out with famous people. You would never know what famous person.
Yeah.
Right? And then, like, almost so much so, like, you became a believer. I remember you said this, and you're like, I was like, we went backstage, hang out at Booker T, and he's like, he ain't bullshitting. They know each other. They friends.
Yeah, dude, I was kind of starstruck.
You was shook because
we went to this wrestling event in Houston, and it was Booker T's wrestling event or whatever.
Reality wrestling.
And, like, you just walked up to the guy, like, watching the backstage area, and was like, my name's Jesse, Booker's expecting me. And I was like, this is not going to work. This is never going to work. And then the guy just, like, waved us back, and we're standing there with Booker T, and he makes me feel like a child. I'm 6 foot, 6'1", depending on, like, what measurement you use. This man made me feel like an infant. I was just like,
Boogers are really like wrestlers are really like not indie wrestlers per se, but like old school wrestlers are really just big guys.
I was just shocked about how tall he was because I was like looking up at him. I was like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, he's a really big guy, and it's funny because like going out, like man, I don't want to bother him. And you're like, I'm just going to see. Like it's like you wanted me to do, and all right, I'm gonna do this. And then like he waved back, and we chilled, and you got to see the real side. Yeah. You can't even say like this is never before seeing TV side of Booker T. This was like you got to see like.
I mean, but realistically, he was the same dude. Like maybe turned down a little bit to not like impress the TV cameras, but he was like more or less.
Yeah, but you saw like he was still real chill, talking and everything else. Me and him just had a full conversation. Like this is really, he really know these people. That was
Yeah.
one thing. Like every person I took a selfie with, I knew on a certain personal level. Like I wouldn't say I was like buddy with every person, but like
You had a business relationship.
I had a sort of business relationship to that level where they knew me by name. We talked. We tried, even if it fell through. Like they still like.
That's who you need to get for the podcast, man.
Who?
Booker.
Oh, Booker T. He's so. I've listened to a lot of his podcasts as it is and stuff like that. He's so like. I don't know how to describe that man. That's a very interesting situation.
I would not want it to be like his podcast because he talks about MMA and boxing and wrestling and stuff. I would want to like get into like his life and him getting arrested.
He gave me good advice. That was one thing where I always like it came to a certain relationship. Every person that I meet on a certain level, I would always ask them about certain points in their life. And Booker was one of the people I asked about him, and he was so like. He was realistic and described me. Like I asked him about like when he got bought out from WCW, WWE and everything, and I was just like, man, you were the top guy, but then you became the mid guy. Why did you do that? Nobody else really did that. And he was just like, I got kids to feed. I have a wife. I can't be caught up where I'm at. How much you paying? How much can I get paid in the future? All right, I'm going to work.
That's the only way to approach life.
And that's how he went. And he was like, I went over there. I was the top guy and everything like that. The pay was a little bit different. How they paid and did things was different. But I adapted, right? And I went on. And then he went to another company, whatever else. And he was just like, and I saw, and like he has his own company. He has these plans, and he keeps trying. And he spreads himself thin. And I was like, man, this is a hardworking guy. And it was like, it was really inspiring to see like. He wasn't caught up with the pride like other professional wrestlers, right? Like his name, he wasn't too humble, and he wasn't like too big enough where he didn't humble himself to know like there's Booker the person and Booker T the entertainer.
Yeah.
And I took little things, meeting all these people, like learning like what to do and how to go forward and things like
That's
that.
anyone who's successful though is like that hardworking thing, right? I saw something online the other day that was perfect. It was like, not everyone who busts their ass gets what they deserve, but everyone who's successful has busted their ass.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. That's very true. Like, that's why I was like, he's one of the people, like, just to know, and like, but like, he spreads himself so thin. He spreads himself super thin. And like, let me see, did I talk to him? I haven't talked to him this year because of the COVID thing, but I talked to him last year. I'll call, like, not the no catch up thing, but like on like, hey, how's things going the next 3 to 6 months for you? And I tell him 3 months, and be like, ask some prices, anything like, like you get paid, I get paid, collaborate. And he's always open. And that's the one thing I admire about him. He's always open. And I've heard people that knew him like 20 plus years ago, he's still the same person. He's always been very humble and open. If you can bring something to the table, then he's all for it.
Yeah.
And you got to appreciate people like that.
Absolutely.
That's really, and that's what kind of like I try to. I don't try and refuse nobody no. And I always just like, let me hear it out or whatever else. And wrong, you get a lot of weird, there's no telling how many ideas gets thrown at him that's like, that's not realistic. I get thrown in. Yeah. Like I had a person one time message me, it's like, God told me and you were going to write this Christian play, sort of like a Tyler Perry play. And like they try to be professional, and they were like, "Let's meet up at McDonald's. I'll buy you coffee." And I'm just like, "All right." And I was like, "You know what? All right, let's hear it out." Right.
That's the kind of thing that I wouldn't even give time to, man. I'd be like, "That's all right, man."
I'm always open to hear like, what can they bring, or whatever else. And I get messages like this week. I got messages like kind of to see if I wanted to be a campaign manager for this guy running for Congress, and it was just like, wow. And I got calls all about it all day long. It was just like I get tagged in one post, and then I get talked about this whole thing all day. You
never know when opportunities.
That's why I'm like, I don't turn anything down, listen to it, especially like if I know I have the time. If I have the time, I'm like, we'll see how things go, right? Like I'm open to it. I'm curious, because like there's things I want to do. But then, I never know how wherever life takes me, God takes me, how you want to phrase that makes you feel comfortable, wherever it takes me, wherever the wind blows, then I feel like that's the direction I need to go, Just mainly chilling. Like that, I didn't think to me.
And that's the right way to live life, I think, is to just like take opportunity as it comes to you. Because I'm real bad about trying to orchestrate everything,
Mm-hmm.
and that sometimes ends up with me failing. And I guess you're gonna fail one way or another. But like I try to keep too tight a vice grip on the order that things are gonna go in, and
Mm-hmm.
then I end up messing it up because you can make all the plans in the world, but
Mm-hmm.
life doesn't play out like that.
That's true.
You know.
For me, it's like it's very. I always wanted a loose schedule. That's why I ended up quitting a job. And it's like I'm gonna figure out how to make this work while working a job. 'Cause I wanted freedom, and I remember making a choice. And even now, I stand on that. If the sacrifice was making money or freedom, I would rather have more freedom than money.
Yeah.
I just need to make sure I make enough money where it's livable.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that was the thing I made. I was like, freedom means a lot to me. A lot of people, it's the other way around. But I always, as a kid, it was really rough. And I remember I had a little job in Austin, and and that just resonated. I was like, I can't go back into the workforce. And he just said, these are your people. These are going to be your family. You're going to see them more than your actual family, but you're going to be making a lot of money. I was like, I gotta get out of here. What?
Yeah.
No, I don't like you people. What?
That's always a struggle, right? Is like
Mm-hmm.
time versus money. Because
Yeah.
you want to make enough that you're comfortable and that you're free,
Mm-hmm.
but also have your time to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's such a struggle.
And finding that balance, that's why I like working certain jobs or certain type of jobs that pertain to me and like what I do, that I can work and have an open schedule. Like in 2 weeks, apparently we'll see if it falls through or not. I'm supposed to be in like Nashville, Tennessee for a week, which is funny. We watched the ACM Awards. I'm supposed to be in Nashville, Tennessee for like a week, and
Not voluntarily, by the way.
just was fair.
It was just
So,
on, and my folks were watching it.
so it's just like, like opportunities like that pop up. Like one time, this is funny. This is why I quit the job when I had the little job in Austin, right? I was a few months dating my girl. We're in Austin, Texas. She was already feeling like quitting her job because it was costing her. She didn't like it. I was like iffy with it. And to talk about speaking things of faith, she always wanted to go like Disney World or something. And I said, oh, we'll probably go to Disney World. And that was one of the things I also said before doing the show. Well, we'll probably go to Disney World, right? I get a message. Hey, man, you want to go to Disney World? I got these. No, you want to go to Florida? I got these things. Then the other person like, hey, I got tickets to Disney World for free. And I was just like, and I told my girl, I was like, hey, we're quitting our jobs. She was just looking at me like, what are we going to do for rent? I'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
It's dumb. People made fun of you on that. He's just like, this is the dumbest shit you ever did do, Jesse. And I was like, you know what? I was real dumb. Now looking back on it, I dead ass quit my job to hang out in Florida, in Orlando for a week, and go to Disney World twice for free.
Yeah.
Right? Great vacation. Came back and was just like, where you gonna live? How you gonna pay rent? And if you don't want to go get a job no more, how are you gonna do all this?
Yeah.
And I made it work. And I was like, how the hell did I do this? And I'm still like,
Yeah, and that's terrifying to me.
that is terrifying. But like it was crazy. Like that's why I got like super confident. I was like, man, I was already making this lifestyle work by myself, but I now made this lifestyle work with another person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I like asked her. I was like, do you know what you want to do? She was like, I don't know what I want to do in my life. And I was like, well, I have this idea. Let's do HypeCon. She's like, what? And, and it's just like, I could do that. And, well, let's do it, right? And, it led into other things. I was just like, this is wild, right?
And Corona fucked it all up.
Man, I think Corona was like a saving grace. I think this year would have been, I don't know, it'd have been a weird Hail Mary. I had a lot of stuff planned. Even coming through here, it was like some Zoom meeting I was on. And coming here to record tonight. So it's really weird to see. So I wouldn't say I think this was a good chance. I needed it. I was burnt.
Mm-hmm.
Not thinking on events. It just burned me because like I wasn't making enough money where I could give myself a month not to think about it.
Yeah.
I was literally planning the next HypeCon 2 months before the other HypeCon happened.
Yeah.
Or had another event. Like
That's
I was
kind of how you got to do things whenever you like freelance everything.
it was like that because I wasn't making enough money to give myself a break. So I was like constantly, I was literally planning contracts. Like I had contracts for another year on top of another contracts. And these not like huge contracts, but these are like
Still a lot to worry
these
about.
are like 10,000, 20,000, 5,000. These are like house payment. These are like more than house payment. These are buying a house.
That's way more than house payment.
Right? These are buying houses, buying cars,
Yeah.
contracts. I'm signing my name on, right? That everybody's getting paid and I make money,
Yeah.
right? And so I think COVID was just blessing because that was worrisome to make sure I could pay everybody.
Yeah.
On just like consistently doing that and like going out and have to talk to people and all of that. That was just
It would wear me out, dude.
it was weird because like there wasn't enough money, and that's why I realized like, man, sometimes give yourself treats. That's why I'm like buy myself something nice,
Some alcohol.
some alcohol. Oh man,
I'm getting too bad about giving myself a treat with alcohol.
I don't drink too often enough. I feel right. I don't drink too often enough. Right, like I'm not a drinker, but I can drink.
Normally it's just Wednesdays, which is when we record this. Like that's when I drink. But me and my family, or me and my mom rather, not even my family, just me and my mom went into northern Arkansas this past weekend.
Oh yeah,
And I was just drunk for like 4 days.
lit.
So it's like vacation time. Holy shit, man. You want to talk about like Trump signs in people's yards?
Ooh.
I was so tempted to stop and take pictures so many times because like you would be driving up through North Arkansas to get to the Ozarks where we were at, and you would just see this dilapidated shack that someone apparently lived in. It didn't look like it was livable, but people apparently lived in it. And they had like Trump flags hanging. It was like, this shit is symbolic as hell.
You know, it's weird. Everybody like feels a certain way when you see somebody support Trump, but I feel like it's cringy when you see somebody support Biden, and I don't know why.
I have not seen a single like Biden sign.
See, but I feel like if you saw it, you feel cringe.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Like you feel weird. Like what's wrong with this person?
There is an homage to compromise.
Yeah, like it feel like it'd just be weird because like for me, like seeing people support Trump makes a lot of sense. Just like when I saw people support Obama, like I can feel like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Supporting Biden just.
It was just weird for me to see like all these like poor dilapidated shacks with Trump signs out of it, just because like it's obviously like the working poor endorsing the thing that keeps them there.
I mean, it's less educated.
Yeah.
Clearly less educated. You know, we need to increase the education and everything else. Like we need to. So many people. Like I don't know. I always look at like my lifestyle to be inspiring, my Facebook posts to be inspiring. I wish I knew how a better way to like help people think without them making me the enemy.
Yeah.
Like that's what
I don't even want people to think what I think. I just want people to think.
I want people to think, but I'm a drama star, bro.
You just try to start conversations, but people perceive that as drama because people perceive honest conversation as drama.
It's crazy. Like I do it on Facebook, and everybody looks in the drama star, but like in the chat, like y'all see, like this is just me.
Yeah.
Right. Like I literally like do that, and like even like they said something. He was just like, "Where do you find this?" I'm like, "Bro, this is my timeline." He's like, "There's no way," because it'd be so wild. Like my timeline is so wild, and like my timeline is a certain level of chaos. But I keep myself in a certain level of chaos.
I troll the comments in your posts, and it's exactly what I said. It's like you're trying to start conversations amongst people.
Yeah, I am.
And people like assume conversation is combative almost.
They get mad at me because I don't block people.
They can't have a conversation without it being aggressive in any ways. And I don't understand that because like you saw like with me and my family in there, I agree with my family on hardly anything. And it got like arguey, but there was never like, it was never
No.
anger. There was never like name calling. We were just like discussing things.
People can't like, and they get so wild with it, and that's why I never really state an opinion. I let people just assume, right?
Yeah.
I let people assume what you want from me. You know, I've been called Uncle Tom. I've been called just all these crazy terms, and it's like okay, you know, I'm like whatever. You know, like I'm not phased. Like I can name call better than anybody in this planet. Like you know, if I really,
oh no, I've tried arguing with you, and you just like cut my knees out.
If people, if I was like if I really like not cared and went like how hard I could go on people, if I made a post and somebody went hard and I went hard, they would be like, who is this man?
Yeah.
It's completely. People don't understand how PG toned down for business wise. I turn myself down,
Oh, absolutely, you do.
right? Like they don't know, and like I'll make certain points, and I come off like very stupid to people, and like I'm like whatever because you gotta. I play like a certain points to try and get them to think more to argue their point, but it's like I know a lot of the time I know a lot of both sides of an argument. A lot of the time,
Oh, same.
right? So I like
It's one of my favorite hobbies with my parents is like I'll take out positions I don't even have just to argue with them and see what they'll say.
just to try and gather it. Well, I like to know, like, all right, if you're strong on this point, give me a good reasonable point, right? Like, give me a point to support this person or why you feel this certain way, right? You know, that's why I just like I lean back on a lot of it, just to weigh back, and I always wait one day, and I think the day I feel like where I'm like financially stable and successful, I gonna go in on so many people on social media.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a bomb. Like I don't even jump on other people's posts. All right, I'm just gonna say something like, "You're always triggering people." I'm just gonna go in, and I'm just gonna lay it out because like nobody
Actually trigger them.
right. Actually, like legit. Like you think I'm stirring the pot? You think I'm triggering? Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Right? Because in reality, I don't actually trigger people. In reality, they trigger themselves.
Oh, that's always the case though. Mm-hmm. That's 100% of the case. Like I said a million times, like if anything anyone else says can bother you, you're too soft.
Sticks and stones break my bones, but words never hurt me is a kind of a old saying that died.
Yeah, but it's very true.
Yeah.
Like nothing anyone else says should bother you emotionally. And if it does, you're too soft and you need to work on yourself.
And you know what's is funny is like a lot of people like the level of I try and research certain topics. Like remember we were talking about genders and sex and things like that, and you were like, "How do you know all this?" Mm-hmm. You were so thrown off on how much I knew. I was like, "Bro, I put in a lot of time. Any post I make, I put in a lot of time studying."
Yeah.
And like I put in a lot of time, which a lot of people don't believe is like I have terrible comprehension.
Yeah.
I have really bad comprehension. So when I was like laying out like, "Oh, this what this is, this what this is," and you were just like, "You should know all this."
I mean, I believe it because I've had to explain SSRIs to you like 20 times.
Y'all don't believe it. Y'all be like, "What is that right?" Like when it clicks, man. I don't know what it is. I wish I had a safety medical word to fall back on. And that's when y'all be like, "I don't believe you." I'm like, "Man, I wish I had a safety medical word like everybody else gets to use." Like I have this, and you be like, "Oh, okay." I don't have that, so I'm just like, "Yeah, man. It's not clicking." You know what's funny? I looked in the chat and I was like, "What's SSRI?" And I was just like, "Huh." They have straight up told me this so many times. It just don't click. I was like, oh, my mind keeps, why don't they call antidepressants? I don't know. My brain don't click. And I've argued with people like, oh, I didn't know this. I have this girl, she's mad. She got mad and thought it was fake. I legit relearned she was in this poly relationship every time. And she was like, that's, you're lying. Like, why are you doing, I'm like, oh, can we talk about something? And she'd be like, yeah, I'm poly. I'm like, you're poly? And she'd be like, you're lying to me. I'm like, my bad. I forgot, and she's like, "You're faking." I'm like, I don't know, So I had to put a lot of time in, like, to kind of grasp these concepts.
Every now and then, I'd say every 6 months or so, almost on the clock, some poly person tries to like drag me into their shit.
Do they really?
Yeah, I'll just like add some friend on Facebook, and they'll message me and be talking, and then it'll be like a good week of casual conversations before I realize that they're like polyamorous and they're trying to like drag me into their shit, and I'm just like, no, I don't.
That's wild.
I can't afford this headache.
I'm gonna go out and say I'm gonna do the opposite. Every 6 months, I feel somebody is trying to jump in my relationship with me or my girl, and it's really wild. But it's different when you do it with, like, I guess because maybe we're not like openly invited. I don't know, like, but it's never a confident person. Always like they hint at it, and I'll be like. Me and my girl be like, okay. And then they'll be like, always like, no, I don't want that. And I'll be like, I don't know where this is going. We're like,
yeah.
And I get dragged, and it'll be real weird. And then, like, they'll send me pictures, and then I'll be like, I don't know why is this happening? And, like, I'll show my girl, like, all the messages, and she'd be like, how did that escalate? I'm like, read. Tell me how this escalated. Tell me how this is my fault. Right?
And I don't even think like with me nowadays, like maybe when I was younger, I was like super jealous whenever I was a younger guy. Like if I was in a relationship or whatever. I don't even think it's that anymore. I just like dealing with one person is enough of a headache for me that I don't want to deal with multiple people in that intimate a setting.
It has to be a certain low. It has to be a certain balance, right? Like
Yeah.
like, and that's like the whole tribal thing. It has to be a certain balance where one can like rest and be involved and everything else. But it also has to be a trust, right? And that's the whole thing. Like I can understand when guys say, "No, you can't bring another guy," because guy has this toxic masculine macho alpha male thing where it's hard to trust. Like they're trying to take your other person. So I can
I'm
see
convinced
that.
that anytime you get like two males in any kind of setting, they're gonna like vie for dominance.
Well, see, and that's why I say there's a certain thing of the culture where I can understand why, like it's easier for women because women has a different. There's culturally it's a different approach,
Yeah.
right? Just going by the culture, nothing further than that. It's a different approach with all that, right?
Yeah.
To sum up everything we talked about, all these things are common approach: work, job, talking about things, relationship, cops. It's all a cultural approach.
Yeah.
And you have to be very aware, right? And like with the relationship sense of it, like poly, a person has to be mature enough. So it's really going to be hard because poly's still very new to the culture to be like a normal thing.
Very old and very new.
Very old and very new, but new to the sense where it's becoming like a more common thing,
Yeah.
right? So how would a person know how to go about?
Well, humans
this
were
relationship?
definitely probably like polysexual.
No, dude, 100. I don't disagree with that at all. But
Yeah.
I'm talking about like culturally to America. How would like you have to trust this person and the person you're with
Yeah.
to be like that, right? Like so you already have to like date a person for one that will be brutally honest with you and will not cheat. That's
Yeah.
really hard to say for a woman because women are they're scared to like a lot of women culturally will be scared to talk to a guy and then hurt their feelings, especially are they aware that you were mature enough to handle the truth? Right? Like, are you mature enough to handle what they can tell you?
Yeah.
And like, that's a whole concept. So that's why I understand like poly thing. Like a lot of people like, it's really like on some sexual stuff because I've never really seen, they're out there, but people that can be on that level, right?
Yeah.
That's the same thing saying like, I've never seen a cop that, that wasn't crooked, but it's like, there are of course things out there, but culturally we have to be aware of our setting.
Yeah. Because, like, I feel like for most guys, having two girls at the same time would be like a dream scenario or like an ideal scenario or whatever. And, like, anytime I've been in a relationship and that's been presented to me, I've, like, always turned it down. And it's just because women are hard to deal with, man. Like, women require a certain amount of energy to deal with their shit. And I don't want to deal with two women at the same time.
On a TMI thing, I've never been in a three-way. Never been in a three-way, but I've been in an instance where you could be like, thing going on. It's a lot of like, it's a completely different, it's a lot of energy.
I've been in a three-way before, but it was like a spontaneous thing.
I mean, all mine have been kind of spontaneous, but I've never been in one. I've just been, I like to have a setting where it's very relaxed.
Yeah.
But like I said, like when I get hit up on these things or on my relationship, it gets really weird. So I've never joined because like if you're not cool and relaxed, if you're bringing drama to me in a relationship, I'm out. I don't deal with drama. I beg to differ what people don't. I don't deal with that.
Keep it out of my house.
Yeah, keep it out. Like I don't deal with that type of stuff. Like I like to just be chill and everything, But it's like once again, you have to trust. Like, can that person not be dramatic? Because culturally, our generation after us, and a little bit before us, are very dramatic people.
Absolutely.
Right, and they don't know, they're just kind of caught in it until you reach a certain level of maturity, right? And that's why like altogether it's just like you have to be very aware. You have to be aware what kind of person, right? Mm-hmm. You just kind of gotta accept it.
All right.
I think that's a good. Wow, this is to sum it all up. Like know your word culturally. Like when you come talking to the police, don't be talking crazy, but don't have to comply to everything. Job wise, you got to know what you want to do. I live a very not normal cultural lifestyle.
Yeah, and I live normally a more
cultural
cultural lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But there are ways to make it work regardless. I think that's the theme of the episode is like regardless of what route you want to take in life, there are ways to make it work. Whatever your deal is.
Be very aware. You got to be aware. Educate and aware. Aware first, then educate.
Be aware of the society and be aware of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware of you and what you can do and what you can tolerate. But that's it. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.